Welcome, welcome, brothers, welcome, sisters, welcome to our program. On target, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending, any topical issue of the day. But most important, you can introduce your own subject matter. And it doesn't matter how you present it, once we could communicate. The issue is communication. You can tell us your story. We on 91.9, we on YouTube, RealFM. We encourage you to share our program. And you can always subscribe to RealFM. It's important for the program if you subscribe and share and like. You know, this is really participating, and we want you to do something. And we speak about anything. Well, from now on, every day on our program till the end of the month, we will be... Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Well, this poem I've been making with 150, and he accepts some of the blows because he did not go back and explain to the people that the 150 was only for 1 year. He said it's a $8 million gap in place in 2021 budget for just for 1 year, and he had to end in 2022. And he take the blows. He said he accept the blows because he did not go back and explain to the electorate, to the people, that so the people get comfortable with the 150, and now it's problem. But he said one thing he will not do. He's going to sanitize the list. He wouldn't just go back and put back the 150 just like that. I don't know if any other caller heard him. He said he wouldn't do that. He had to pause out the list. And that's what he could do. But Alpha now, he don't just rush in and put it back because of blows. So he also said that some of the sugary item which he put tax on, he didn't do enough homework on that, so he go move it from February and bring it back to March. So the tax will start from March because he didn't do enough PR. He didn't do enough PR. So RealFM is really, really, really waking up things. I never knew he used to listen, but he said he listen. He get blows, he said he get some blows. So I know RealFM is doing a good job. So we want to congratulate you on your program, sir. All right.
Thank you, caller. Caller, I'm tongue long. And this, it's graceful. The government removed 150 from the pay of the elderly. Every budget cycle is for a year. And when the next budget comes, anything could happen. The government put 150 on the pay. The last group of human beings in Grenada to touch that 150 is NDC. Why? NDC promised to raise the money that people were getting in 2008. That is 14 or 15 years ago, I believe. They use an elderly man to advertise the program. The man dead, you don't get a cent. Not that is why I say the minister is a fake. And you want to practice sensational economics in Grenada, you must have these problems. The Prime Minister said, go buy 2 planes. Let me correct myself. You get 2 planes. A caller corrected me. He didn't say go buy, you get 2 planes. Then the Prime Minister said he wasn't aware that you have to have license and permission. If you're riding a bike in Grenada, you have to pay license and insurance. A big man like the Prime Minister, a liar, he don't know that if you have a plane, you have to pay license and insurance and permission to move the plane. Did Ron me a motley telling me he wouldn't get permission? None of them prevented him from getting permission. So he gave this excuse hoping to bamboozle Grenadians, but in tongue long. The Prime Minister gave $500 assistance to nurses. And nothing is wrong with that. I could give me money to who I want. You can't tell me who to give me money. He gave $500 a month to nurses, but he removed $150 from the elderly people. Does that make sense? The Prime Minister gave $1 million plus, or under $2 million, to teachers. That is when they withheld the labor in rest and reflection as an industrial action. The court said that they are not legally labor. The Prime Minister remove $150 from the elderly. What has happened in Grenada? The National Democratic Congress has grown very insensitive to elderly people. It has happened in the world before, you know. Adolf Hitler, when he wanted to make an Aryan race, he even killed people in Germany that was deformed. You always have these individuals rising up in a country, you know. You have to be careful. The Grenada Prime Minister, I said where he is going to get the money. If he didn't budget for the money, I told him 3 places where he could get the money. 1, we have 3 parliamentarians supposed to go to the United States, send 1. The Prime Minister is living, I understand, in a rented home. Government is supposed to pay. Function. You don't have to live in Montreal. Function in Montreal. And discontinue the rent if it's government that have to pay. The Prime Minister set up a Ministry of Mischief. The MIT, Mobilization, Implementation, and Restorative Justice, based upon the interview the Prime Minister had in Tobago. Disband this ministry and leave 2 or 3 people to help you with implementation. Sometimes it is necessary to have people to facilitate the process of implementation, to investigate hurdles and bottlenecks. The gentleman that is used in the MIT, I think it is expendable. That's why they use him. He has a good heart and is ambitious, but they're only using him. Because if you want to address bottlenecks in the ministry, you have to deal with somebody who has some experience in the ministries. Let me repeat that again. If you want to seriously address bottlenecks among the public officers, you have to have somebody with an idea how the public service work. Otherwise, you're getting more bottleneck. Disband that ministry. That ministry is for political victimization and mischief. And by so doing, the Prime Minister is going to get the money to pay these elderly people. This is robbery and violence. There is no excuse. The last group of human being in Grenada to touch that money is NDC. Because they promised in 2008. That is one of the reasons because the elderly that they will give them $400. I think that time they was getting $250. They promised the e-money that they would raise their fee to $1,000. The NDC reneged on both promises. But worse else, the NDC fired them old people. In 2008, some of the elderly people cried when they were removed from the program. 5 women from Pierre were removed. You notice I doesn't talk about man. 5 women, elderly women, was removed. And the NDC does the same thing again. This excuse the Prime Minister gave is insulting and flimsy. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. And main road and the road. And they want to do a road flatter and straighter so that you could travel between St. George's to St. Patrick in about 30 minutes. I don't know if the Prime Minister don't understand topography. Grenada have a certain topography, and the roads have to be based on the natural landscape. So I don't know how that road going to be flatter, straighter, and to take 30 minutes, real speed between St. George and St. Patrick. I don't know if the gentleman didn't do geography in school, or maybe never. I don't know, something wrong. I need for somebody to explain something. Thank you, sir.
All you knew we had a I can't remember his name, and he was my good partner. You know. I don't know if somebody called me and tell me. He was in Parliament. He won election under the days of Eric Gary. One of road from to Carriacou. And nobody can take issue with him. That is possible. You could build a bridge from Grenada to Carriacou. That is possible. But is it economically feasible? That's another question. So if you notice the Prime Minister say he's going to get 2 planes, I go buy 2 planes. And then he just changed his mind and say he didn't know you have to have a license and permission. You have to have license to ride a bike in Grenada. You have to pay insurance. But you're telling me a big Prime Minister, a corporate lawyer, don't know you have to have a license for plane. So I'm not surprised if the Prime Minister say he's going to build a road from St. George's to St. Patrick's or to Guava Way, straight and flat. Nothing is wrong with it. Winston bought the guava. He had a lot of nutritional value of the guava, but he didn't get that symbol. But he ran election. And he was here alone, and so he could have said anything. The Prime Minister have to understand that he's now the Prime Minister. He's not running for election. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, good day.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, I don't understand what some people in Green, you know. I mean, after all this lineman give us from the campaign come right back, we still have confidence, believe in what I say. Over my shoulders in the face, all in the press, after he come into office, is more and more distorted information, and people still believe in what I'm. I don't know how long. I don't hardly listen to news these days. You know. You guys don't listen to news only about transformation and the transformation. All news now based on transformation. And I can't listen. I don't even listen to that because when he comes, some mobile and he comes with it again. I can't have confidence in him again, man. I can't have no confidence in him. Because remember, people still waiting on the removal of the VAT for 1 year. People waiting for this poverty in the land. When you send no people, so putting more people in the power. People waiting on permanent work. Man, it is so long. Pierre, take care, have a good day.
Yes, I think the Prime Minister is a fake. The quicker the Prime Minister just enter politics, and Grenadian gambled with somebody brand new to politics. So I guess they expected some level of inconsistencies and some great mistakes. So the Prime Minister perhaps have to go back and get some coaching from the moderate NDC. He cannot continue to depend on these radicals in the NDC group. They're going to lead him down a place of no return. In the meantime, the Prime Minister must give back the elderly the money. No excuse. And I'm telling you where to get the money. You have a trip going to the United States where 3 parliamentarians send 1. I understand that you're living in a rented home that you expect the government to pay. Function in Mount Royal the way Mr. Tillman Thomas did and live where you are accustomed living. Get rid of the Ministry of Mischief or scale it down. It is not necessary. It is a ministry set up for political victimization. The agents that you are paying to go and monitor when NNP have activities, to see who are the public officers that they cancel this thing and give the old people the money. We're going to call on you every day till the end of the month. After that, we may have to do some more. We have to call on you some more. What you did, you committed a cardinal sin. It is robbery with violence. You took the people's money from them, and what you did not even notice them. You make these elderly people line up in line, and then they realize that they were not getting the money they are accustomed to. A few of them cry. Some because they're so disappointed. What you did is wrong. You did the same thing in 2008. When you had the old man on the radio, the elderly person on the radio, that was the same thing you do. The Prime Minister have undermined the confidence between the financial institution and people who work in the informal or temporary sector. Now that is more devastating than perhaps any of the other political and undermine the confidence between the financial institution and the people who work in the informal sector and the people who own contract. You said to the people that if they're on contract, if they're permanent, they could get a job. You did not make them permanent, you fired them. So the Prime Minister opened the door for people in the private sector to fire workers and put them on temporary. That is the Prime Minister opened a Pandora box. The Prime Minister is one of the serious threats to the labor movement. A lot of the work that has been done before, and there are some unwritten rules. There are some precedents, unwritten rules. The government have destroyed the unwritten rules. So now businessmen going to fire workers easier. Or tell them, although you're working for 17 years, you wasn't permanent. You was on contract. So take 1 month notice and go. That is an easy way to get rid of workers. The trade union should be extremely concerned that the Prime Minister, they cannot quote tradition and precedent no more because the government of the day normally set the template. Government set the standards and business people take the lead from government. So because government is firing workers that spend 15, 17, 4, 9, people in the private sector will feel they can do the same, and they will do the same. You see Kenco workers crying. Well, Kenco right. And they may have more justification for doing that than the government. You have people 17 years working with the government and the government fired them. So Kenko could say, well, we thought we could buy a plane, but we can't buy a plane, so we go fire you. We thought it was only 8 million. We thought the government of the day set the template. Now, all the other governments, the other political parties before, you had a number of senior trade union leaders incorporated in the party. So Eric Gary party was born on the trade union, and NNP party had a lot of trade union leaders. So NNP was a party that is always cognizant of the unwritten rules of the union. This group of hardliners that they have, they bitter, they angry, and they do not have one iota of respect for the unwritten rules in the trade union. So what that does have serious economic consequence, and it has damaged years of unwritten rules becoming tradition and precedence within the workplace. The least the Prime Minister could do is to plead the fifth and immediately return the 150 to these elderly people. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hello, good
Yes.
day, Mr. Pierre.
Welcome, caller.
Yes, I just want to make a point on the when the NNP came into office, and they met 70% of the dollar on was on wage and salaries. They didn't say that they didn't send one worker home, you know. They find the solutions to see how that could have overcome. They didn't blame the NDC, you know. Even when the unions negotiation in terms of the increase and the back pay and so on, they didn't. The NNP administration led by Dr. Kit Mitchell, former Prime Minister, didn't cry and say it wasn't he that negotiated that, you know. They paid all the workers the increase and the back pay. They didn't retrench any workers to send them home, which that heavy wage bill, it was heavy. When the roads were building, CCC was here, building the roads and so on, NDC packed back CCC back home at their home. The NNP administration brought back CCC, and the information is there, where the projects continue in Grand Bacolet and other places, you know. CCC came back to Grenada and whatever. So they continue the work. So the safety nets and all the opportunities that the NNP administration created for the advancement and the empowerment of the working class people. All these people sent home, and they have a blame game about that road because of the NDC. But you in government, fix it. Do as what the NNP did when it took over in 2013. You are there, fix it, and no blame game, because we all know what had happened over the past few years because of COVID-19. So the monies that been removed on the poor people payment for the seed, put back that money, because so many people got sick. So many people in tears all know because they had the food and the medicine to buy. So, thank you. Have a good evening.
Yes, caller. Caller, what you said is very easy for the NNP to do that. Because the NNP always seek the interests of the marginalized. The NNP always have a number of trade union leaders in the NNP. Even when there was not in the NNP, they recognized the policies of the NNP are more in line with the trade union. The members of the NDC, without the moderates in the NDC, is an alien party to the country. So that will be difficult for them. They're bitter, they're angry, they think they are the smartest people since sliced bread, and now you have Dick Mitchell. So this his whole economic outlook is like sensational economics. Deacon, this is why it's so important for the voices in this country to tell Deacon Mitchell, the money you robbed from the old people, put it back. You have no right to push your hand in the cookie jar. Put it back. At the end of the month, give back the people the money. And we will tell you how you have a trillion is not necessary. 49 years of independence. These are the people Eric Gary fight for. Give them back their money. Send one person in New York. I'll let the next thing is go and live in Montreal. Or function in Montreal and sleep where you want to sleep. Disband the Ministry of Mischief. This ministry is going to cause real problem in our country. This ministry is a ministry of political mischief. Socialist countries and communist countries does have ministry of mobilization. One party state does have that. You don't need mobilization. Mobilization is a party thing. So disband this ministry. Maybe you need some assistance in implementation because our implementation rate under all governments in Grenada is not as high as we would like it to be. So you have to get experienced people who have some clout and who understand the public service and how you could deal with the bottlenecks. The whole the old people.
Mr. Pierre.
Welcome, caller.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, could you remember that when NP got in there in 2012-13, there was no money? Remember, we had to go, Barbados called us. Barbados called the Prime Minister Mitchell to come to Barbados. And when he reached Barbados, then they started to show him there is no money to pay this and no money to pay that. The last government didn't pay nothing. Dr. Mitchell had to call the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, was a woman at the time, and beg her to lend him $7 to $8 million at the time. Plus, they left a bill on the table that you have to pay the civil servant an increase. Dr. Mitchell don't say nothing. You sit down around the boys, you sit down around the table, and then they decide how they're going to pay them. But they will pay them. That was his statement. And he did pay them. You understand? We have a prime minister now who did all the promises. I have to say he's crazy. And none of his ministers go stopping him and put a stop and tell him, no, you can't go there and tell the people that. They say he's breaking pen in the ears. You don't listen to him. He's going full forward. And he's constantly telling people what he's going to do for them. What he's going to do, you don't start yet. You don't labor yet. You don't have no money. All the money was there from the past government. You don't start nothing yet. But you're making all the promises and you're not stopping. You have to stop doing that. Prime Minister Mitchell, don't tell people how you're going to build road from St. George's to Sussex now and all kind of stuff in it. Tell people that you're going to leave the plane and then after come back and eat your word. Just tell people that you're going to make them permanent and all what the past government was doing was wrong and you have to eat your words. I could go on and on. We give you a chance. Come on. Sit with experienced people who understand how government works. You do not understand how government works and you're not listening to none of the people who are in government with you. Zero. Because you feel, because of you, they won the election. They're taking advantage on that. You understand? Yes. We put you as a pilot to fly a plane with no experience. And we should expect the result that plane 90% might crash. The survival maybe was only 10%. We knew that, but we still take that chance. And today, the people of Greater Carriacou and Petit Martinique is paying a price for that. The poor people is the one who vote you in. They can reach just a few. And the poor people turn their back on Dr. Mitchell, who used to give them a little takada when the month ends. And they go and vote for you because they think they will get more than a takada. So they level the bone and they jump right behind the shadow. And today they're crying. But we can't forget them. We still have to continue, to help them. And may God bless Greater and Carriacou. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
You see, the Prime Minister and the National Democratic Congress get involved in sensational economics. And sensational economics is very colorful. And because of the fact that all master's degree are bright people in Grenada, most of them just lose their tongue anytime they're under pressure. Anytime they're baffled, they don't say nothing. They're afraid they're wrong. Because Uncle Ben say, if you want to see a fool, let him open his mouth. So people like me, just always call me stupidity. Because I like to express my opinion. But our bright people don't like to open their mouth. So when Deacon was gallivanting with sensational economics, people shut them out. And they're hoping when he win the lotto. But even though he has to win the whole Caribbean lotto to solve this problem, they get $75 million and they take it to give to the retirees, who is not likely to spend more than about 20% in the short, medium, or long term. The retirees will put their money in financial institutions. And when they tell the children, go take it and squander it. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my brother, good to hear your voice. Welcome.
Right, Mr. Pierre, I'm going to say something that a lot of people may not.
That is the program for
I have just heard Miss saying that they have no. What will happen if they get a savings after, or if there are people named that have to come out when they do their research? They may, but as it is, they have no intention of giving back.
Well,
the same Miss Bain, the same Miss Thomas said in the Parliament when she was speaking on the budget that they are not going to take off the money. So, and she said that no, as I'm speaking to you, they are saying that they're in the Parliament. The gentleman I told you about the Prime Minister saying 30 minutes to go wrong from St. George's to Sotel. He just said that there.
You said that there?
He just said that in the press conference now.
You want to build a road, so why you want to go on Grenada so fast?
So,
So
let me tell you that. This government would not take back on anything that they say they're doing. They're going to continue unless the people. I don't believe in this revolution.
Caller.
But
you said that they say they have no intention.
Mm-hmm.
The National Democratic Congress is sensational economics. So what we need to do, lobby them and show them where to get the money. They don't have to have intention.
I don't think from where they speak, from the way they speak, I will glad if you could get a copy of the press conference afterwards.
All we have is that easy. Social media now is just going in Facebook and that's easy.
And I'm telling you that the government is spending whatever they do in.
The government, this government is a government.
There is no way out unless they come out of power, and that is they believe it. Dickon is still popular and remains popular.
Caller. Mm-hmm. This government don't know what to do.
I agree.
This government get entangled in the sensational economics.
All that.
And what we need to do is to demand that they put it back. And they will put it back.
We'll wait and see. But I'm telling you, based on what he said.
Caller, don't borrow it.
And I also heard.
The government said they're going to buy a plane. They buy it?
Not yet.
They said they're going to make people permanent. They did that?
Not yet.
The government.
Listen, from what I'm hearing, that Miss Delma Thomas say.
Miss Delma Thomas? Go. Yeah.
It spoke in Parliament, in the press conference.
Miss Delma Thomas was in the press conference?
No, she was not there, but I'm saying the way they spoke about her, it appears that a double game is being played.
Yes, scholar. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
A double game is being played, and we have to look out.
Okay, thank you. What the government has... Yes, scholar, welcome.
Hey,
yes, scholar, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, when the government doing? When they commit a atrocious crime against the people of Greater Caribbean, Peter Martini, they will see that and they go plan something and they come and have a press briefing and they go talk about something nice. Because when you check it in track record, before election, they promised so much thing, what they go to do. And now they end up doing the opposite. Now they talk about they go build a road from Tongue to St. Patrick.
Well, what you want fast road in Greater so far? You go run out of the country, Greater is a small country. you don't want all this fast road. You bring money, one bus stop by the gas station, you one bus stop and pick up people. What activity you have in the north to have vehicle coming up so fast? You know? So that is sensational economics. We have some political virgins who want to operate in the marketplace. So you expect that?
Yeah.
So we have to try to zero in and help them and pray for them.
Yeah, I'm saying, I do believe greater courage more developed than how it is right now. Because when it happens, when you have a government that make a lot of progress, bring a lot of progress in the country, and then because of promises that a party bring for and it's so nice, they fall for it. And what happened when that government come into power? Every progress that was made from the government that was there before, they come and they change the whole thing. The country regress, right? So like making 2 steps forward, that the other government coming in, three step backward, and we could be far more developed. Because I say government is a continuation. Anything that is good and that is benefit for the people, Greater Caribbean Diplomatic, I see a government, if a government love people, they should continue with the good and the development that is taking place in the country. And because people, when someone have only love in the heart for only themselves, they can't see farther than themselves. They can only see from the face to the belly or to the foot. Right? So we call upon the government, please, the people, the citizens, they make sacrifice, they work hard.
Yeah, we're demanding that they bring it back.
Yeah,
this is not call no. We demand that.
Because they work hard, they sacrifice, and they might build a foundation, a solid foundation for Grenada to be where it is right now. They do something and the people because I don't take on their tail. They come and have a press briefing and they promising everything. So
yes. What we're doing is we have a call on the line, call a punch.
Yeah. Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, man.
And how are you?
Great, man.
Well, I laugh until I'm nearly dead because This, you remember?
You wrote
I remember when Winty wanted us to run for election. He said he's going to build a
Bridge.
road from here to Caribou. Well, these are them more crazy than Winty.
Winty was my good partner, but he didn't used to drink rum.
But he used to, it was me good partner too.
Yeah,
But these and them, I don't know how to style it.
they want a flat
Worse than
road.
Winty.
Full speed go up in the knot.
I can't imagine. These people and them wicked until they don't know what to say.
You call that sensational economics.
Me,
Yeah.
I don't have no book sense. They're more stupid than me. With that stupid government we have in Grenada here at this present
Yeah,
time.
but it is unfortunate. But what we need to do is to get, without all the laughter, Deacon has to go back to the elderly in his party. I know they're on the side. I know they're watching with concern.
Yes.
Deacon have to go back to them.
Before they get into power, they put $2,000. They take $2,000 for what they say, I don't know. But the poor people that work so hard, especially aged people in the country to build Grenada, they find it hard. Lord, these people are named God.
Yeah,
God
but
just
yes,
my tongue.
you have to pray for them.
Yes, we have to pray for them.
Anytime
Mr. Pierre.
we
God
don't know
bless
what
you.
to say, you have an old man, he say, when you don't know what to say woohoo. The government have to give back. Give back the old people the money. That is a first start. It don't make sense wasting time. Give them back the money. And I'm telling you how to get the money. Deacon go and live in Montreal or function in Montreal and sleep where you're accustomed sleeping. Mr. Tillman Thomas, function in Montreal. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre. How are you doing?
Yeah, great, man. Having some fun.
Well, you had to have some fun. Now, I'm listening to this press conference, and the NDC opened up that kind of worms in it. They stay away from having press conference for months. So you see what happened? The whole country want to know what's going on, and the journalists doing the work, and they're trying to get as much information as possible. But the deacon messiahs and the followers below the life, they're cussing everybody and every living thing. And you can clearly see, if you watch the demeanor of Deacon right now on that panel, he's very uneasy and he's not too happy to be in that place. You want to bet me that there will not be a press conference in another 6 months again?
No, I'm not.
Bet you that.
Caller, we must have press conferences. We must have press conferences. There will be press conferences much sooner than you realize. We must have it. Otherwise, these individuals that say they are journalists, better they change their job. You don't have to have no master's degree or bachelor's to be a journalist. You know. We must have. So I would if I bet you, I will win you.
Two questions that stood out to me that was asked to the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, and he diverted the question to the member of St. George Northwest of there, right? St. Andrews Northwest, Ms. Gloria Thomas. And the question was basically asking him what is his take on this bipartisanship, you know? And what Deacon answer with that question there? Gloria Thomas is saying one thing, and Delma Thomas is saying one thing different. Gloria Thomas went on a social media program. And she said that she hasn't talked to Deacon. Delma says she hasn't talked to the leader of the NMP. So these two ladies are working on their own. What Deacon in this particular what Gloria and Delma is saying. And the thing about it, Grenadians are running with this thing as if this thing is normal. The division in Grenada, Mr. Pierre, is actually real. What has been said on radio for the last couple of days, when Dr. Mitchell apparently coming out and talking on different programs, the name callings of the people who's calling programs and the attack is real. So you cannot be preaching collectiveness and friendship and then you have somebody on the radio calling that one a kind of name and that one food look good and this kind of nonsense. How you want people to come together with you? That cannot work. It cannot and it will not work. NDC needs to talk to their people. They need to tone down the rhetoric and try to see if they could work with Deacon and help Deacon, because trust me, what they do in Deacon didn't help him. Have a good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Caller, Deacon, yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Now, I suppose the Public Workers Union negotiate salaries, let's say for 2020, 2021, and 2022. 2022 with the government. When it comes to 2023, if I was working for $10 a month in 2019, so when it comes to 2023, my salary now is $10 a month. You get me?
You mean they go take out some?
Well, the people say that the 150 was for a year because the year. So I want to know when the government and the public workers union negotiating salaries and the period for the negotiation up, when the new term come to negotiate, you have to go back to the salary that you started out with, say, for example, in 2019.
You never could tell, because when they can end up selling some, he might take back some in what they give them. You never could tell.
Well, and the other thing, Mr. Pierre, I think we have to take this thing in a more serious way. This guy needs some kind of assessment. I don't think that guy is in the right mind.
What we need to do is to get the elderly NDC that they threaten to throw peon. They have to go back and talk to Dick and them. And them they have to face the press, not Deacon. The two individuals Deacon identify as the prime press people in Grenada, if I should use that word, the doctor and the sister, I can't remember her name. They must go and find Lennox Andrew and Dennis Cornwall. This is the two McCoy in the NDC. These are the two individuals that have institutional experience and learning.
Well, Mr. Pierre, you just watch how Lennox Andrew way in Italy and you will know what kind of person he is.
That is an individual character, nothing wrong with that. But that is the two individuals that both Bob and the other sister hiding away from. They know this is the two individuals that have the thing in their hand. It's not Deacon. Deacon is a dramatist, a fake, a sensational issue. These are the two individuals that could tell you any semblance of reasoning in Grenada have to be Lennox Andrew and Dennis Cornwall.
Well, if Lennox Andrew is advising the government economically, I'm not surprised as to what is happening.
Well, they are the two best in the government, and then it's Ron. It's Lennox Andrew, Dennis Cornwall, and Ron. Well, they don't want Ron speak, but Lennox Andrew and Dennis Cornwall, the journalists in Grenada have to go to them. Deacon is just a dramatist, a sensational individual, practicing sensational economics.
Take this record of Lennox Andrews. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, this gentleman has been in the public service for a lot of years. He worked at the highest level in the Ministry of Finance. He was involved, I think, on all the occasions when they had structural adjustment program. He's a knowledgeable person in that field. So Lennox Andrew and Dennis Cornwall are the two individuals the press have to go for answers. Obviously, Dick Mitchell tried a thing, and now he's more a kind of sensational economics. You're going to buy two planes? Well, he didn't realize that you have to have license for the plane. You're going to build a flat road? It's sensational economics. This is kind of attractive. But if you want to know the extent of the trouble in this scene, you have to speak to Lennox Andrew and Dennis Cornwall. To know the extent of the deterioration economically that Grenada in, you have to speak to Lennox Andrew and Dennis Cornwall. These are the two individuals. Deacon is just drama and sensationalism. He raised the price of sugar and he dropped the price of condom. Sensational. You know, he said that the biggest challenge was his photogenesis. I don't know, maybe that word no good. Yeah, the challenge he had in taking pictures, that was the biggest challenge. So obviously, you know, the individual has entered an area that is not corporate law. A lot of people believe because you have a briefcase, a certificate, you could function in politics. And I'm not surprised that none of the political leaders understand the two individuals. Both Gloria Thomas and Delma Thomas come from the same community, the same political environment. They might have had a very good relationship. And perhaps they would have tried to see how they could work together that the other people take out of context. That must have been frightening to both women. They would have tried to, and some attempts, in one instance, Mr. Delma Thomas, with negotiating with Gloria, was able to get 11 women re-employed. After 2-3 days, 11 women were called back on the job. And the women were very happy because of the intervention of Delma Thomas. I heard there were more, but that is what I'm sorting about. And when I speak on radio, you see others challenge them to go and find out the 5 women from Paraclete. So I heard there were others, but I don't know. But because of the close working relationship between the two individuals, they tried to continue. I think both of the political parties must have been taking this thing out of context, and they should tone down a bit and give them a chance to, because the issue is not within party, it's just 2 women from the same community, from the same come from the same economic area, and generally have a relatively good relationship between them. You know? And a question, I think Delma said, election of consequences. And perhaps she's trying her best to maintain a relationship with the individual to save jobs in a community. That is what I know from outside. I don't know about the internal working and operations of the individuals. But both leaders perhaps is not too, doesn't understand, because obviously Deacon don't want no cooperation. You see the overtures that has been made by the NNP leader has been practically fall flat on his face by Deacon. Deacon don't want that. But this is the situation that we are in. Obviously, people would be concerned because in 2008, when after the NDC took power, we know the economic situation that we found ourselves in. They were not paying the traffic. The economy was in free fall. They sold 13 pieces of property. They sold property that did not belong to the government. They sold shares that they were not legally entitled to sell. They still sell it. John Galt say NDC on coke. And it appears within 1 year of the NDC coming in power, even moderate NDC must be crying. Most of the hardline politicos now, they can't even raise their head to hold discussion with you. They're upset, they're disappointed, they're angry, and some of them still bitter and want people like me to shut them out. I understand, but we have to face reality and see if they could salvage some level of respect from the Dickens administration. They're going on the wrong trajectory. And we could take another call because this station is basically, your opinion is very, is critical in cases like this. We continue to demand that the government, yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
I tend to not quite understand or agree with what you just said. In the sense, and that's your opinion, my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, Miss Delma Thomas said to the nation, I saw on television, said to the nation that she have not spoken to Mr. Keith Mitchell, who is the head. She was asked that by the interviewer. Who is the head? He said, well, aren't you a member of that party and is your boss? She said she can't. She said, well, what kind of relation you all have? She said she can't answer that. No, we have to be.
I didn't hear that interview.
Huh?
I did not hear that interview.
You didn't hear that?
No.
But I'm telling you what she said.
Yeah, I believe
saw
you.
her
I
on
just
television.
said.
Miss Delma Thomas is somebody I know well. I know the whole family. People are going.
But we come from the same area.
Right. I'm saying that kind of game is not the best game to play. I have no problem with Miss Delma working together with the other Gloria, the other Thomas. Our two ministers in our two personnel working. I have no problem with that. but you must know where to draw your
Yes, she
line.
must be able to give the party explanation.
Exactly.
But what happened to the meetings?
But
what you're saying, the party would have been having the executive meetings and the management meetings.
Exactly.
So they would have had time to, I guess, interact with her.
Yes.
So maybe she attended the meeting but didn't say nothing and they didn't ask her anything.
Well,
but she must be attending the party executive meetings and the management meetings.
They said that the party have set up an investigative committee to interview her.
Well, yes, if she's going to meeting and she's not saying anything, the right thing for the party to do is to get senior members of the party.
I have no problem with ministers. I saw Mr. Peter David in
his constituency,
right? And
nothing is wrong with that.
And he have a right.
Yeah,
I don't expect the government to have something in Dr. Mitchell's constituency and to invite him.
Yeah, if they invite him, he should attend. Yeah.
Right, and he have a right to sell it towards. I'm saying so, nothing wrong in that.
Yeah.
But to me, things are not right somewhere, and the longer they take to tell us, is worse for the party.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that with no excuse.
Well, I know you're going to just punch.
Right. I say that with no excuse.
Yes, caller.
Do things in the right way.
Yes, caller. We come to the.
Thank you.
We come to the end of the day. Back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1. And every day we will call on Dick Mitchell to perhaps go and pray and confess his sin and make sure you give the old people back their money. You don't want that stain on you. Give back the money you hijack, you take violently from the elderly. You have no justification. You promised them that money in 2008. You did not deliver. You fired them instead. Another government gave them. You can't use budget. Budget is for 1 year. You don't remove the money from them in this harsh economic time. Some of the stories outside is so sad you don't want to repeat them. And our brothers and sisters from the diaspora, the time has come, you like to open your mouth and condemn everybody without knowing the facts on the ground. So the time has come for you to know the facts on the ground. And those on social media warriors, hold discussion. Don't go brandishing people, but don't go attacking individuals, but discuss the issue. We're back with you tomorrow between 12 and 1. Thank you.